Hi, Timothy Carlson here. The Criterion Collection is at it again, this time taking us back to 1932 and bringing us another classic on 4K Ultra High Def. Today we're looking at Scarface, sometimes known as Scarface, The Shame of a Nation, starring Paul Muni. This is the film that, of course, was later remade in the early 80s starring Al Pacino. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. There's our cover art featuring Paul Muni's character, spine text, back cover. As with all Criterion releases, we do get a pretty nice insert here. This folds open. There's some nice, essays and photos here of the cast. Of course, we get the film in 4K Ultra High Def for the first time. And we get a Blu-ray of the film, which includes the movie plus the bonus features. Underneath there, you have this, I don't know if this is supposed to be an X or a cross. Interesting pattern there. Blazing across the screen in a spray of bullets, the gangster film sensation Scarface helped set the standard for the genre for decades to come. Swaggering, scary, and unexpectedly charming, Paul Muni gives an iconic portrayal of criminal sociopath Tony Camonte, the ruthless machine gun-toting mobster who rises through the ranks of a bootlegging empire atop an ever-increasing body count, but his possessive relationship with his wild child sister threatens to be his undoing. With rat-a-tat command of editing and dialogue and his trademark panache, director Howard Hawks creates an unstoppable sense of dynamism while pushing on-screen violence to new heights of brutality. Scarface, of course, had a lot of talent in front of and behind the camera. The film was directed by Howard Hawks, one of the greatest directors of all time. This is the man who directed masterpieces like Sergeant York and Rio Bravo, both of which I've also covered on this channel at different times. Howard Hughes was actually a producer on the film. And of course, the movie stars Paul Muni playing the titular gangster, who of course starts out as a low-level hood, but when he shows loyalty to his regime, he's quickly promoted and rises up through the ranks. But it's not long before power corrupts, and he finds himself in a pretty bad situation, not only with rival gangs, but also with those on his side as well, who become afraid of his newfound power and ambition. There's a great supporting cast here as well. Boris Karloff, probably most famous for playing the Frankenstein monster on camera, even appears as a rival gangster. And the man who plays the higher up with the gang through which our title character rises through the ranks is portrayed by Osgood Perkins, the father of legendary actor Anthony Perkins. So you have an all-around great cast here, and the world building is great. The sets look absolutely phenomenal. This movie really takes you back in time, nearly 100 years, to the era of Prohibition when gangsters and bootlegging reigned supreme. The movie also doesn't hold back on the violence either, which for the time was, of course, pretty edgy. They even had to make an alternate ending to the film because supposedly the one that was made here was too violent, and they even had to put a prologue in the film to explain that the actions of this film were not meant to be glorified and that you should do something about this and your government should do something about this and the rise of all these criminals. There's no version of the film known to exist that's entirely unedited, apparently, but this is probably the closest we will ever get to one. And I'm happy to say that, in addition to all that, the movie does look pretty good for its 4K Ultra High Def debut. There is no HDR on this release. I don't know if it would have made a massive difference if it was here anyway. But you do have to keep your expectations in check because this is a pretty soft-looking film. It always has been, just based on when and how it was shot. So this is pretty reflective of the original intent. And I do have to say, don't come in here expecting something ultra-sharp that looks like it was filmed yesterday. But it is pretty reflective, again, of filmmaker intent. And the movie does look very good overall. I'm pretty satisfied with this package. It's certainly the best that the original version of Scarface has ever looked. And on the Blu-ray disc, of course, we do get several supplements, including that alternate ending that I talked about, and some other pieces that go into the history of the film and the like. I don't believe any of the bonus features on here are new, and there's not a ton of them on here. It's one of the lighter Criterion supplement packages that I've seen over the years, but I am glad that we get something here, so it's certainly worth checking out if you're a fan of the movie. Scarface is certainly a classic that's sadly a bit overshadowed by its more popular remake that came out half a century later. But you need to go back and experience the original, which in my opinion is actually a much better paced film. How about you? Where would you rank the original Scarface? Do you think it's better or worse than the 1983 remake? Is this one of your favorite gangster movies? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure to give us a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.